Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. I want to say that I'm glad to see Rachel Dolezal resign from the NAACP. And I'm going to tell you why, because she was not fit to be a leader. The woman had no credibility. The woman lied repeatedly. She's a pathological liar. This woman lied for years about her racial identity. This woman lied about hate crimes being committed. This woman plagiarized artworks. This woman is a complete and utter joke and a disgrace, and I'm glad again to see her go. This woman claims that she identifies as black, that she began to identify as black since she was very young. She expects us to believe this nonsense. But when she sued Howard University for race discrimination, she saw herself as white. This woman is a conniving person. And again, I'm glad to see her go because her word means nothing. You can't have somebody in leadership that takes that kind of position where they lie about everything. This woman lied about the identity of her father. She lied about so many things, and she used those lies to elevate her career. See, as the bold black man, Khalid Muhammad, said, we were robbed of our language, our culture, our religion, our God. And judging by the way we act, many of us have lost our minds. And that's what I think. A lot of our people have lost their damn minds to support this woman. To support this woman in blackface. That's what she basically has done. Dressed up like a black person. Pretend to be a black person. Now I know that obviously there are differences between her being masquerading as a black person and outright minstrel shows. But there's an analogy there. There's a comparison there that cannot and should not be ignored. So we have been robbed of all these things. And now we have this white woman who wants to take the very identity of black women and wear it as her own. That's the ultimate example of white privilege. We've had a long history of these people taking black culture and using it for their own advantage. As I said in the last video, you had Elvis. He sat back and he studied all these black blues singers and actually took their performances or their lyrics, their ways of performing, and he used it to get himself rich. And the same thing continues today, where you had this white woman, Iggy Azalea, basically putting on a damn minstrel show for the world. And she's receiving all kinds of awards as being the hip-hop artist of the year and all these things, when there are artists that are superior to her lyrically and just in terms of their performances. But yet this woman gets crowned as being a hip-hop artist of the year. This is how things go. This is how these people misappropriate our culture. Only a damn idiot would celebrate some stuff like that. Only a fool would do so. This notion of transracialism or being transracial is utterly and completely ridiculous. And I find it odd and I find it actually disgusting that you have these black intellectuals who are actually giving this false notion credence. You have people like Michael Eric Dyson actually suggesting that there may be some validity to this concept of being transracial. You have Melissa Harris Perry actually entertaining this nonsense when this has nothing to do with someone being transracial. And it has everything to do with a white woman exploiting black culture for her own advantage. This has everything to do with a damn fraud trying to get over. And yet you have these so-called intellectuals actually lending credence to this nonsense. You can't just wake up one day and decide you want to be black. Black is an experience. And even if you put on blackface and pretend to be black for a little while, you always have the option to return to being white. So you truly cannot experience what it means to be black. And we have to understand that we live in a larger society. Even if someone decided that they want to be white or they want to be black, the larger society will remind them of who they actually are. If I decided I want to be a white man, the whole world will still see me as a black man. When those cops pull me over, they will see a black man. When those store clerks watch me walk around the store with suspicion, they will still see me as a black man. When people walk up to me and ask me, do I work here? They will still see me as a black man, regardless of how I, quote unquote, identify myself. Blackness is a reality that cannot be changed just by a mere thought. It cannot be, someone cannot just become black because they think they can become black or because they think of themselves as black. And the opposite is true. You have the example of Michael Jackson. This man lightened his skin, went through plastic surgery to look more European. He altered his African features, his lips and his nose, and changed his hair. He did everything that he could to look like a white man. But at the end of the day, he was nothing but another nigga to these people. And that's how it goes. These people get wealthy and they think somehow that they are no longer black until they get that damn nigger moment where they're reminded that society still sees them as black, regardless of how they identify themselves. So this notion of being transracial is nonsense. We have biological ties to Africa that are undeniable. And that is part of what makes us African American. They can check your DNA to tell which areas of Africa you come from or which continent you come from. So there are biological differences between the races. Those differences obviously don't outweigh the commonalities between humanity, but those differences exist and they are undeniable. You cannot transcend race alone simply by projecting a thought out here. And the last thing that we need to do is start intellectualizing someone's fraudulent conduct.